I have incorporated the linguistic correction regarding North African dialects and polished the text for better flow and historical precision. A language reborn, the miracle of modern Hebrew. In ancient times, Hebrew was the primary language of the Jewish people, and the Old Testament was written in biblical Hebrew. However, as Jews dispersed around the world, they gradually adopted the languages of the countries where they lived. For example, Jews in North Africa primarily spoke Judeo-Arabic dialects. Jews in Western Asia mostly spoke Arabic, and Jews in Russia spoke Russian. The use of Hebrew gradually declined and was eventually nearly abandoned as a spoken tongue. In regions with significant Jewish populations, they sometimes combined Hebrew with the local language, creating unique Jewish languages. One notable example is Ladino, spoken by medieval Spanish Jews, which emerged from a mixture of biblical Hebrew and Spanish, incorporating numerous Arabic words. After the expulsion of Jews from Spain in 1492, Ladino spread to Italy, Turkey, Greece, North Africa, and other Mediterranean regions, and later to some Latin American countries. However, by the 20th century, the number of Ladino speakers had greatly diminished, and the language was approaching extinction. In Central and Eastern Europe, Yiddish was the long-standing language of the Jews. It developed as a mixture of German and Hebrew, written in Hebrew letters, with grammar primarily based on German and vocabulary largely drawn from German, while incorporating elements of biblical Hebrew, Polish, and Russian. With large-scale Jewish migration to the United States, Yiddish was brought there as well. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, Yiddish thrived in Europe and America, with numerous newspapers, books, and influential literary works published in the language. After World War II, the Holocaust and the assimilation of Jews in Europe and America led to a rapid decline in Yiddish usage. Biblical Hebrew disappeared as a spoken language around the 2nd century CE. During the Middle Ages, Hebrew survived only as a written language used in religious rituals and prayers. Beyond rabbis, only a few scholars studying philosophy, literature, and history could read this ancient script. Hebrew was no longer used in everyday communication and became a dead language. With the rise of the Zionist movement in the 19th century, the slogan, "One people, one language," was proposed. However, there was significant disagreement among Zionists about which language to adopt. Some favored Yiddish because it was widely spoken, others preferred German, including the Zionist founder Theodor Herzl. A few suggested English. Many, however, advocated for the revival of Hebrew. Herzl wrote in Der Judenstaat, The Jewish State, that establishing a Jewish state would make language choice challenging, as few people could conduct daily affairs in Hebrew. Nevertheless, he opposed the use of Yiddish or Ladino, considering these mixed languages unsuitable for national communication. Miraculously, Hebrew was eventually revived in Palestine, becoming the daily language of Jews and ultimately the official language of Israel. This achievement is largely credited to linguist Eliezer Ben-Yehuda. Born Eliezer Perlman in a Hasidic family in Lithuania, he adopted the name Ben-Yehuda after being influenced by the Zionist movement and, at the age of 21, published an article advocating for a Jewish state and the revival of Hebrew. In 1881, he and his family moved to Palestine and began promoting Hebrew in local homes and kindergartens. He and his wife agreed that only Hebrew would be spoken at home, and their children would speak only Hebrew. Ben-Yehuda founded the first Hebrew newspaper and educational publications, creating new vocabulary as needed. In 1889, he established the Hebrew Language Committee to standardize spelling, pronunciation, grammar, and coin new words. He also experimented with intensive Hebrew education for youth, teaching entirely in Hebrew. By the early 20th century, kindergartens and schools in Jaffa and Jerusalem were fully Hebrew-speaking. In 1905, the committee established the Eastern Jewish accent as the standard pronunciation and approved the creation of new words. Ben-Yehuda faced immense resistance. Orthodox Jews in Palestine viewed Hebrew as a sacred language, meant only for religious use, and opposed its application to everyday matters. He was even arrested by Ottoman authorities for allegedly desecrating the sacred language. Additionally, he faced competition from other influential languages, as some European-backed Jewish institutions promoted French or German. Despite these obstacles, Ben-Yehuda achieved remarkable success. According to the 1916 census, approximately 35,000 Jews in Palestine, about 40%, used Hebrew as their primary language, with 70% of children speaking it. By late 1917, when British forces entered Palestine, Hebrew and English were recognized as the two main languages in military control notices. In 1922, the year of Ben-Yehuda's death, the British Mandate officially recognized Hebrew, alongside English and Arabic, as an official language of Palestine. One of Ben-Yehuda's most significant contributions was compiling the first modern Hebrew dictionary. Unlike previous dictionaries arranged by root, his followed the model of modern European languages, organized alphabetically. He continuously added new words. After his death, it was revised multiple times and finally completed in 1959 in 17 volumes. For his tireless efforts in reviving Hebrew, Ben-Yehuda is honored as the father of modern Hebrew and is revered by Israelis and Jews worldwide. After Israel's establishment, Hebrew and Arabic became official languages. The early years of the state saw massive immigration, doubling the population from 680,000 to 1.4 million within 3 years, with only 1/4 speaking Hebrew, creating communication challenges. In 1950, open intensive Hebrew courses were introduced in immigrant centers and the army, allowing students to learn daily conversation and basic reading skills in about 6 months. Opens continue to play a crucial role in integrating immigrants and teaching Hebrew to foreigners. Today, modern Hebrew is a rich, expressive, and fully living language, widely used in Israel's radio, television, newspapers, official documents, and daily life. Jews around the world enthusiastically study Hebrew. The younger generation often speaks it more fluently than their elders, leading to the saying in Israel, "Children teach their parents the mother tongue." Modern Hebrew has 22 letters, written from right to left like Arabic, with printed and handwritten forms. It differs little from Biblical Hebrew. A person from ancient times could largely understand modern conversations, though some words have changed or been newly created. Biblical Hebrew had roughly 8,000 words. In Israel, Jews have also revived many ancient cultural symbols. The president is called Nasi, echoing the ancient Senate. The parliament is the Knesset, with 120 members as in antiquity. The national flag's blue and white stripes and Star of David derive from the prayer shawl. The national emblem, the menorah, symbolizes the 6 days of creation and the Sabbath. The currency, the shekel, continues an ancient Hebrew unit of measure. These historical symbols are everywhere in Israel, reflecting a deep reverence for heritage and continuity.